Thank you, Ms. Nibel. Are we all set on Mr. McNamara? We get him connected? Mr. McNamara?
Can you guys hear me all right?
I hear you loud and clear. Thank you. Good evening.
Oh, good news. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the time with the family. Colin McNamara, 47 Grandview Street. Those are two great comments regarding the Tong building. This is like a boondoggle, and it's just a pay-for-play or some back scratching going on. Everybody knows what's going on. You don't have to like dress it up with some fancy language. This is you're doing a political favor for an ally by buying his parents' dilapidated property. They treat their tenants pretty poorly. I've known a couple people that have businesses in there, and they're not good landlords. And like this previous commenter said, like you're just rewarding the negligence. It's not appropriate. I said it last time. I'll say it again. I hope you guys deep six this proposal. I know you guys threw out the $1.5 or $1.75 million offer because that's a trial balloon. You float up. So then when you come back with the $1.25 million, it's a lot more appetizing or palatable for people, but it's still way above market value, and they have no business taking Manchester tax dollars from us. I was reading the paper. They were saying that the problem with the building was a leaky roof, and that Mrs. Tong had said the roof had been completely fixed. But then they contacted the Manchester Building Department, and it said that the application for the roof repair had been denied. But there was like a dude scrambling on the roof for like 3 weeks 2 years ago when I assumed the application would be denied. I must have saw the guy a half dozen times myself. So you can't say that nobody else did, doing unpermitted work and just trying to put some lipstick on that pig. But let's move on. So I don't like the security guard at Town Hall. He's intimidating to people, and when you walk in, he's like, what do you want? It's like, dude, I don't need a gatekeeper to access my Town Hall. It's wholly inappropriate. It's only because town employees can't keep their hands to themselves and decide to tackle a dude who wasn't wearing a mask. So now the taxpayer has to be put with the burden of paying a security guard salary because town employees can't keep their hands to themselves. You got to get that guy out of there and give the town hall back to the people and not some security guard. We don't need any more gatekeepers around. You guys voted to increase the town clerk's salary, I think like $6,000. But since the new town clerk came into office, the town clerk's accessible office hours have gone down. I think 2 days he's only available for like half the day. So I don't understand why we're giving a raise to somebody who isn't available the same amount of time as Joe Camposio. I understand the town clerk's dealing with some health issues. I wish him the best. I hope he heals up quick. But we either need to open the town clerk's office all the way, or we need to reassess what we're paying him. When you guys redid the website, we're switching gears. You changed some things, you added some things, but what you took away was a town directory of staff. Used to be that people in the public could go on the town's website and find a person's email and direct phone number. And again, like now it's another gatekeeper exercises where in order to get a phone number or an email for somebody, you need to contact customer service. And I was trying to get an email for somebody in information systems, and I called them 3 times and nobody picked up. I ended up stopping down, and they're like, oh, you called 3 times and you didn't leave a message. I said, I shouldn't have to leave a message. You should just pick up the phone. But we should just have the town directory of staff accessible to the public because they're being paid by town taxpayers' dollars. So I don't understand why they have to have their information hidden. I was really disappointed to see the town continue to double down and promote boosters to get together for the holidays. There's so much data coming out that shows this affects people negatively, especially cardiac issues. I know like 5 different people who've had cardiac episodes, whether myocarditis, pericarditis, a quadruple bypass, 2 heart attacks. One of them was fatal. And you guys just cannot help yourselves. It's disgusting. And you should just let people make their own decisions and try to stop being some sort of school marm, continuously telling them to get jabbed. In terms of the silver sustainability accolade, like big whoop. Sustainability is a complete scam. It's all about bringing your standard of living down. A good example of sustainability in action would be the fact that Eversource is increasing their rates by double. And that's wonderful. I mean, it's awesome if sustainability means bringing your lifestyle and your standard of living further to the ground. If we all just like lived in houses without electricity and ate, worms, we'd be completely sustainable. And I am into conservation of resources and using resources wisely, but cutting resources and jacking up rates on people who are already struggling with a government-imposed tax called inflation when you printed like trillions of dollars out of thin air isn't appropriate either. And I would be patting yourselves on the back for that. I took the government academy, which was wonderful. The town puts on. It lets you meet different public.
Mr. McNamara, you're Mr. McNamara, you're done.
I'm wrapping up.
Thank you.
And there was no BOE. Yeah, you're just cutting me off. That's what. There was no BOE element to it, and there was no general manager's element to it. The Girl Scout troop got a general manager sit down in the office, but the public can't. We need to incorporate BOE in the general manager's office.
Thank you, Mr. McNamara. Thank you. Fred.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McNamara.
Colin McNamara, 47 Grandview Street. Item 8A2, Manchester Police Department receives $125,000 through the American Rescue Plan to support the response to and recovery from the COVID-19 public health emergency. That's kind of like a word salad. What does that mean? Because I had emailed Health Director Catlett asking him if any town employees had actually succumbed to COVID-19. He said not a single one had, which is like 2,400 people. I mean, that's great. I'm so happy none of the town employees passed from COVID-19. But to give the police department $125K in response to and recovery from COVID-19 health emergency, what are they recovering from? Are they doctors? What are they doing with the money? Are they aiding in medical care? Are they prescribing something? I don't understand why $125,000 is going to something that's so nondescript as to support and the response to and recovery from the COVID-19 public health emergency. That's not descriptive of what the money is going toward. It's just some filler. There's no meat and potatoes. Where is this money going? Going down to 8. A8, Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant, $38,308, to be funded by the State of Connecticut Department of Health for the purpose of public health preparedness activities performed by the Manchester Health Department. The Manchester Health Department, I was contacting Director Catlett many times. So this is just one example. In the testing for the COVID-19 virus, they would collect a sample through your nose, and they would put it through a PCR test. It's called polymer chain reaction test. And they would spin it in the centrifuge. And the more times they spun it, it's exponential growth of the sample. So if you spin the PCR test 30 times, you get accurate results. Anything over 32, 33, you're looking at 90% false positive. I asked Director Catlett a direct question: how many times are the PCR tests being spun in Manchester or in the state? I don't know. I don't know how many times. Our public health director doesn't know how many times a test that is extremely faulty, if it's spun more than 32 times, doesn't know the rate. The thing is, they were spun 40 times, from my understanding. But he didn't know. I found out later through my own investigation. So you're looking at what the New York Times said was a 92% false positive rate. The COVID-19 virus, you guys, both the biggest scam, the biggest wealth transfer in history. Usually we have 500 deaths in Manchester. During the height of the pandemic, there was 525 deaths, which is tragic. But I would venture to bet the majority of those people were people that died in care homes, because we have quite a lot of them for our senior citizens in town, of loneliness, not being
Thank you,
able to
Mr.
have the proper
McNamara.
care and
Your 3 minutes are up. Thank you.
prevent it.
Thank you. Mr. McNamara,
Colin McNamara, 47 Grandview Street.
welcome back.
B1, the Barr Foundation grant, $250,000 to be used to create programs that engage students by providing various pathways toward college and career readiness. Item 2, Rise Innovation grants to be financed by Dalio Foundation to support educators preparing students for college, career, and life successes, $208,000. I'm not sure if item 2 is double payment up to $416,000, because this line item was also in the November meeting. We'll see. I guess maybe you'll fill me in after the comment. But I would like a detailed account of where this money is going. Maybe Mr. Geary could come give us a report on how these funds are being spent. The BoD Foundation is run by some multimillionaire out of, I believe, Massachusetts. And if you go to the website, the focus is on racial equity and climate change. And the same thing with the Dahlia Foundation. It's a multi-billionaire who's a big proponent of stakeholder capitalism and ESG, environmental social governance, which is all about creating a digital ID to put an individual carbon score on you. And I'm sure they're going to be touting this kind of ridiculousness with the BoD Foundation if they're pushing racial equity and climate change. This racial equity stuff, I'm all about equality. Everybody should be treated equally. But this is all each according to his want, each according to his need. This is just Marxism rebranded with crummy, really poor buzzwords. And I would like to know how this money is being spent and what kind of curriculum is being promoted and where it's really going. Where's the rubber meeting the road here? This is almost $500,000 from billionaires. Why do you think they're giving us this money? Out of the kindness of their heart? Or do you think they're using their nonprofits as a way to drive their political agenda and increase their wealth? That's what happens. People with money use their money to gain influence and power, and they support education because they know the mind of a child, and capturing that is the most powerful thing. I think it's a Lenin quote. It's like, give me a child for 3 years and I'll own his mind for life. And it's all about pushing this nonsense in school. Here's a little story. The other day I was in the yard and some kids came by and wanted to rake my leaves. And I thanked them for the work ethic, but I don't need my leaves raked because I don't really do that. I just let them rot. It's very environmental. Anyway, they left. A few minutes later, my son came over and said, hey, one of those kids stole a rake from our yard that was on the fence. I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. So I decided to take a ride and see what he was doing. And I saw him throw the rake and steal my neighbor's bike. Now, I confronted him about this, and he denied it, and his buddy ran off on the bike. Anyway, the police ended up getting involved, and when the cops showed up, this guy said, hey, this crazy white guy is profiling us because of our skin color. It's not because I saw with my own eyes him steal a bike. Now, he eventually admitted to the police that
Mr. McNamara, thank you very much. Mr. McNamara, thank you.
Is all about division and how they can use...
Mr. McNamara, your time is up. Thank you. Any board members like to item 8B, Secretary Burgent?